Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. For those of you who don't know, I'm James Festini, and I know Kung Fu. No, really, I actually do know Kung Fu. I'm no longer actively practicing, but I know beast mode Kung Fu. And I'm going to paraphrase this, but there was something that Bruce Lee had said about not fearing the man who practices or knows 10,000 punches, but to fear the man who has practiced one punch 10,000 times. You've heard the saying, and it's been used so much, maybe he didn't even say that. But you know what I'm talking about, the man who practices that. And the practicality of the James Festini beast mode style from Southern California is probably one of the most practical resources for knowledge and wisdom in what I would consider to be prospecting Kung Fu. There's simplicity in the method that I share with you guys. There is an ease of access to the capabilities that you have by just listening to what it is that I say to you and encourage you to do. Because not only is it important to me that I succeed because my family needs to eat, but it's important that I continue to validate myself to you, the public viewer, to find out if this is still a valid fighting style in 2017. Now, you have a lot of real estate gurus out there who will teach you passive methods. I guess you would call it the Aikido of martial arts. Aikido uses a lot of like Steven Seagal style stuff where when you punch, you don't really hit, but you use the momentum of the body to deflect the punch. But this is a market where it requires a considerable amount of jabbing more than right hooks. And a lot of the golf theory comes in. I don't golf. I don't know golf. So I can't say much about golf. But I do know that there is a difference between the swing of a golf club. The difference between the science and the preciseness of a golfer and his swing, his stroke. Is that what it's called? The stroke? I know that the difference between a good golf swing and a bad golf swing is the difference between the PGA and the YMCA. If you know what I mean. It's the difference between the big leagues and the little leagues of the swing and professionalism. And when I go out and knock on doors, and when I go out and hit the phone and hit the telephone, and I ask that one question, and I use my script, and I ask, I was just wondering if you were thinking of selling your house. So many people come and approach me online, in particular, when I do it live at the Beast Mode Lead Gen room. They'll say, James, why don't you say this? Why don't you try that? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? And as much as I appreciate the constructive feedback, the foundation of my punch, that I've practiced it 10,000 times, does not leave room for error. So although I am asking a very specific question that's going to absolutely, positively, no doubt about it, yield a no, I have practiced this punch, this delivery of this specific script so many times in so many markets for so many years that it's no longer me punching, but it's the inner chi, I guess you could say. I'm going to start using Kung Fu references from now on. It's the inner chi or energy that's involved in interpreting the opponent's response to how I strike. And when I say or ask the question if they're thinking of selling, I realize that it might not come as a yes, what I'm looking for. Because I don't care what you say. Hi, my name is Agent with Company, and I just wanted to knock on your door and ask you if you were thinking of selling your house. I just want to let you know that a home down the street listed for $500,000, and I was just wondering, who do you know who might be interested in selling? I just want to let you know that I'm handing out Easter baskets, pumpkins, topical ointments. I'm leaving these sunflower seeds for the baseball season, which is including this free football schedule, whatever the hell you're there for, knocking on the doors or asking the question. You only want one thing. All you want is one thing when you approach a call. You want one thing. What do you want? You want a yes. Now, me have practicing my punch, I know there's only one thing that I want: a knockout. Now, for many people, they would think a knockout means out cold. For me, as a master of my art, my knockout doesn't mean I'll get a knockout, beat the opponent, but it means I win. I get what I'm looking for. They surrender. I knock them out. They get to a 10 count. They stand up, but they say, I'm done. They raise the flag. Is that a knockout? Technical knockout. So I'm looking for a technical knockout. I'm going crazy with these fighting analogies, but what I'm getting at is that I've done this so many times. I have 100% confidence when I tell you and share with you that when someone approaches me with that answer, that no, that yes takes many forms. Maybe is a form of yes. When you knock on a door and someone says, no, not right now, that is not a no. And I've heard some scripts and dialogues and role plays, and I've watched some things you guys are doing out there, and I've seen live demonstrations where someone will say not right now. Where for me, my ears perk up, man. I'm in like fight mode. I'm like, oh, I know you felt that. I'm looking for that maybe. I'm looking to incubate leads. Whoever told you in this industry, whoever told you that you are looking for homeowners who are thinking of selling within the next 7 to 30 days, if you can't find them, throw it away. Disregard them. Don't do anything other than next. You're a fool. You're an idiot. What are you thinking in spending hundreds and hundreds of hours, thousands and thousands of calls, looking for someone to say yes in this day and age? Why not look at the smaller details? Why not look at the smaller clues as to what people are saying to you rather than rejecting it? When you buy a pair of Nike shoes or you buy a Starbucks, you don't buy a Starbucks or a pair of Nikes because Nike popped up a banner ad. You reject it. Does it mean you're not going to buy those shoes? Does it mean that your eyes are not thinking about it? Is it not just another brand impression for the time where you say, oh, I like this, but I ain't got no time for that right now? That's what I'm looking for when I'm soliciting people in the public, in the general public, is someone who says, I don't have time right now, but yeah, maybe later. And that yes, as far as I'm concerned, it's a yes, takes many, many forms. You can thumbs up if you like this. You can heart if you agree, whatever it is you do. But the word yes takes many forms in 2017. It sounds like this. Not right now. No. Maybe. I have an agent. I might do it myself. How much you think it's worth? Now that is a yes. Here's what a no sounds like. You want to hear this one? Here's what a no sounds like. Yes, I am thinking of it. Like, wait a second, that sounds like a yes. You would be surprised how many times as I'm knocking on the door and I'm knocking on the phones, or I'm hitting the phones, and someone goes, as a matter of fact, I am thinking of it. Extremely rare. To which you follow up and the next question is, oh, is it for sale now? No, I'm just kidding. Oh, here's another one that no might be disguised as a yes. For $1 million. Okay, great. Click on a button. Fortunately for Mojo, you click on that and it pops up Zillow, and they're $500,000. Clearly, that is a yes. It's a no disguised as a yes. And some of you might think, oh, there's a lead. It is not a lead. When someone says yes to you on the phone, 9 out of 10 times, it's a no. Yes, I'm interested. Oh, is it for sale now? Yes, it's for sale. Well, then it's gone. It's not a lead. Yes, okay, great. How much do you have any idea how much it's worth? Yes. Are you planning on moving in the next 2 or 3 months? Yes. Do you speak English? Yes. You're like, you don't speak English, do you? Yes. I get that one too. There's certain cultures that just say yes to everything. That takes various forms, and it's important that you understand that the reason why I do what I do and I say what I say is because I'm going for the end result, the perfect punch, and I'm looking for those leads. So if you have a guru who tells you look for the yeses, you need to know, you go ahead and stick with that guru. But what you need to read into is what they're actually saying. And that is incubate. Know what those yeses are. Incubate, cultivate a yes. A yes does not happen in an instant. If they say, yes, I am thinking of selling my house in 6 months, what do you do with that? You send a letter. You get their email address. You get their phone number if it's at the door. And you cultivate a relationship so that in 6 months from now, your guru would have you keep calling looking for yeses when you had one sitting there 6 months ago. All you had to, and to think that you should reject phone numbers or that you should reject maybes or reject these false no's because it's not giving you what you think you're supposed to get, which is the impossible. Needle in a haystack. A needle in a field. Acres and acres of haystacks. One needle. Instead of just pulling it out and creating a haystack made of needles and tossing them. Because each one of these maybes is that needle in a haystack. You make it and you find it and you collect it into a pile and then revisit that pile. Spread it and pepper it across the landscape of the next 6 months or a year. I keep leads that say maybe in 2 years. Why? First of all, because I plan on being here in 2 years. So if you have somebody telling you look for the leads that are willing to sell in the next 7 to 30 days, that's thinking that you're only going to be in the business for the next 1 year, right? I mean, where's the logic in looking for the immediate business if you're in a marketplace that no matter what script you use, you get rejected, right? Because it is getting harder. The do not call list is kicking our ass. You have all of these brand new real estate agents because the market is getting great and they're latching on to people like me or whoever's teaching you. Just pick up the phone, whatever script you use. There are more and more people picking up the phone. Caller ID, forget it. No one has a house number. I mean, there's 100 reasons why cold calling has cancer. Stage 1. It's not dead. It's not on life support, but it has a virus. It's got a disease, and it's not doing good. When the pickup ratio for 100 calls is 6% in my market, that means I dial 100 numbers, 6 people pick up the phone. Well, maybe 10 people pick up the phone, but 6 of them are people, decision makers that I can ask the question. That's not very good. I don't know what the pickup ratio was 20 years ago or when I first started 24 years ago, but I'm going to guess that minus the do not call list and this bombardment of people saying, put me on your do not call list, it's changed. I would be surprised if it was like 50% pickup ratio. So now we go to the doors and we're knocking on the doors. And we have to accept these variations on what a lead is and how this pertains to the James Festini Kung Fu, the beast mode style, right? That's if there is an animal style, it's the beast. Understanding that with these 10,000 times of one punch delivered at the door and at the phone, and that you continue to master that ability to listen to the answer. Listen to the response of these people, not just disregard them because they said no, But pry in one more time. If they give you a nah right now, say, do you think maybe later down the road? You'll see this when I'm doing my live prospecting. You can't hear the other side of the conversation, but you'll see. If you're in the room long enough, you'll see it happen. And many people won't even it won't register until now that you've watched me say it, as to why I do that sometimes. Why does James Festini, when he's doing 200 contacts a day, why when he does 200 times, when he does 195 times, he says, hi, my name is Agent with the company. I was calling to see if you had any interest in selling your house. No, thank you very much. I'm calling to see if you had any interest in selling your house. No, thank you very much. I'm calling to see if you had any interest in selling your house. That I do this so many times, but then every once in a while I'll be like, hi, my name is Agent with the company. I was calling to see if you had any interest in selling your house. Do you think maybe later down the road you might reconsider? That is a very, very different. When you see me punch, you're like, I didn't notice he protruded his knuckle. What's that all about? I didn't notice he angled his wrist a little bit. You know, his wrist went from like this to that. It's always like that. Now he's like that. It's this small, like the golf swing. He just did this like small little twist of his, and it's like, oh, now he nailed it. And when they go, oh, well, great. Do you have any idea how much it's worth? And you'll see me like a miner panning for gold, right? They're panning and panning, or I don't know, I've never panned for gold, but they find a nugget and they're like, stop everything. And you start mining. Or if you're silver, I guess it's in the walls. God, I'm so stupid about this stuff. But I imagine like people who use pickaxes in caves and they're looking for gold is in mines, right? You guys are gonna think this guy's an idiot. But you're picking the axe through the cave, and then you find one little nugget, and then you start looking, and you find what's they call it a vein of gold or a vein of silver, and you follow that vein. And so I'm sitting there looking for nuggets and and I'll hit a nugget, and I'll be like, boom, check it out, and I'll dig a little bit, and put the nugget, no matter how big or small, the bigger it is, it's clearly probably they're going to be selling in the next 2 or 3 weeks, not 7 days. They don't even know me, so. Most of the time, even with any script, what would happen is that if you were able to get into the appointment, they're not ready to sell. And that's a whole nother animal that I wanted to talk to you guys about, is this whole pre-qualification process of pre-qualifying a listing. So now let's go to the guru's angle, and they say, do the cold calls, use my script, and then when you set the appointment, ask them a question. Are you planning on listing your house with me when I come out tonight? You haven't ever, they've never received a business card, I guess. I mean, I'm trying to think of the process of how these gurus teach you how to close for an appointment and then qualify for an appointment. And then eliminate the possibility of you listing it based on a question that is clearly going to probably yield you an answer that says, no, I'm not going to be listing. I'm going to be listing in about 2 months. So why would you, because you want to set an appointment, want to not go to the appointment, knowing ahead of time, you know what, I'm going to the appointment. I'm not a fan of pre-qualifying. I'll be honest. And many of you guys will be like, dude, you got to pre-qualify, man. You got to pre-qualify. But in my opinion, the inventory is so low that if you have someone who is thinking about selling and is willing to get you into the house, and that you've incubated it, if you could just get to the door, I don't want to say, are you planning on listing your house with me? I listed a house on Monday. That if I had called them at 9 a.m., we had a 10 o'clock appointment. If I called them at 9 a.m. and said, hey, I was just calling real quick to find out if you were planning on listing your house with me when I get out there today, their answer would have definitely been, no, James, we're going to be doing it May 1st. We just want you to see what we need to do. You get that a lot. They're going to say, what do we need to do? If I would have pre-qualified the appointment, I would not have walked away with the listing at 11 o'clock that day. I said, okay, no problem. I just confirmed, hey, I'm just calling to confirm my appointment. Okay, great. I'll see you then. To me, that is a pre-qualification. The fact that in this day and age that they still want you to come out. Most people know, like in the Glengarry Glen Ross, they say, a man don't walk on the lot lest he wants to buy. They're sitting out there waiting to give you their money. Are you man enough to take it? Remember that line? If they're willing to let you in their house, it's probably not under the assumption that this is a social visit. If you've done your proper incubation. Now, we're not talking about cold calls and they let you in. strong probability that if you pick up the phone, someone says, yeah, I'm thinking about it, and you say, great, when do you want to sell? And if they happen to say, well, if the price was right, then maybe you say, great, I'd like to come out and take a look at the property. And they say, okay, great. I mean, on the way off chance that they're going to get an absolute complete stranger from a complete out of the blue that they don't know on a phone call in 2017 to come on over. Let's talk about my most personal and intimate, biggest investment in my life. Don't worry about it. My husband will be here too. Maybe I'm wrong. But the fact that they let you into their door is enough to say they know why I'm coming. It's not for free out marketing house. But if you are in a marketplace where you can rack up these kind of appointments, then go out. If you can set one appointment for a free CMA on the off chance that they might be selling in 2 or 3 months, go for it. That appointment that I had at 9 a.m., I got there. And they kept saying this May 2nd, it's like March. And they're saying 2 months from now, here's what we got to do. Here's the list, here's the list. And I said, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, what if you can get your price right now as it is? And they're like, well, I don't know, we got all this stuff to do. I go, look at the inventory. Right now, let's pretend we're the buyer, Mr. and Mrs. Seller. I'm a buyer, and I want to go into this neighborhood or this zip code. And I'm looking for a pool home, 3 bedrooms in this price range. Look what comes up. Nothing. Why would you in a market, and that's my script to them, I said, why in a market where you're the only one to compare with, would you feel like you have to improve it so that they compare? I go, it's not as if they're going to another property and saying, this is a piece of crap, let's buy that instead. You're the only one. So tell you what, Mr. and Mrs. Give me 1 minute. Let me get my camera and show you something. All right. So I got up, went into the car. I'd already established rapport, about 15, 20 minutes. Got up, grabbed my nice camera, nice DSLR. Went into their living room that they thought was ugly, and they needed to do paint, and then the kitchen that they needed to do this and that, and they wanted to do this and that. And I said, let me take 2 or 3 photos and watch. I angled my camera right, snapped the photo, make sure I got the right lens, wide angle, snapped the photo. Made sure it was the right lights and everything with my flash. Snapped the photo of the kitchen, snapped the photo of the backyard, which they thought they needed this, they thought they needed that. And then I showed them that. And I go, look at this. They're like, whoa. DSLRs are awesome for this. They said, wow. I can't believe it looks like this. I said, this is what the internet buyer is going to see right now. All we need to do in this market with the inventory as low as it is get it online, get them to the doorstep. And if at the doorstep they see what you see, or which, by the way, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, your opinion of the way the house looks versus my opinion, your opinion really doesn't matter. I see more houses. I represent the majority. I go, your house looks fine. I would not steer you wrong in saying that you could get XYZ, and if I can get you that without doing anything, would you sell? I'm like, yeah. Right? Great. Sign the contract. Boom. Listing done. 6%, full price, 6 months. Took all my photos on the market. I've got like 10 showings since Monday. We will sell it by this weekend. Here's what would have happened, ladies and gentlemen, if you would have pre-qualified them. And you wouldn't have used James Festini's Kung Fu Beast Mode method. You would have pre-qualified them, and I would have knocked on their door, and I would have said, hi, Mr. and Mrs. Sarah, I'm James. It was Central. I was calling you. I'm just wondering if you're thinking. Yeah, we are thinking of selling our house, but we're waiting until June or until May. I'd be like, oh, why are you waiting? Well, we got a few things to fix up. Oh, okay. Well, what are you doing? I'd be curious to find out. I would have established rapport, and they would have invited me in because they're thinking about it, and that was the kind of people they are. I would have gotten in their door. I would have sweet talked them, smiled, told a joke or two, talked about the inventory, and they would say, would you like to see? Hey, I would be standing right there, and I would say, I'm curious what you're doing. Would you mind if I take a look? I mean, sometimes I could save you money myself. Well, we had another agent come out, and he did an opinion. I go, oh, hey, I'm here now. No problem. Oh, okay, come on in. I mean, all right. If they let you in and they have another agent, dun, dun, dun. Something's not right. It's like smiling at a girl when you're married. Ain't something wrong, right, man? You got the googly eyes on the wrong person. There's something there, right? There's a background check. You got to check yourself before you wreck yourself with the James Festini Kung Fu Beast Mode style. I would have gone into her house, and she would have let me in, and I would say, look, guys, I'm not sure what that other agent's telling you, but if I can get you this, well, I guess. I tell you what, I know you're already talking to this agent, but look, I'm here now. I have a feeling just looking at this property, I could get you this. Give me 30 days. I go, if you're thinking in May, why don't let me show you something. Take a picture and show her and be like, let me show you how I might be able to because of this and this. And they would be like, all right. I would have closed them on them based on your gurus saying pre-qualify them, and if they say in May, don't go. Where I would have said, if they let me in the door, let me in. It's by practicing my kata, my Kenpo style, my Northern Shaolin, my Snake Crane Tiger, Iron Fist, Drunk Monkey style, all of that, 24 years of mastery and education that says this is the purest cut, guys and gals. Please trust me when I say that I'm creating enough content and I'm producing enough value in the form of video and live feeds and Snapchat and podcasts and YouTube and on Facebook. I'm begging you, do something for your career. Unsubscribe from everybody else right now, or unsubscribe from me. No big deal. Stop following me or stop following them. It's that important. It's like being a Jehovah's Witness and a Jew. It's like reading the Quran, praying 5 times a day, and then showing up to church on Sunday for the Catholics. It doesn't work. You have to follow one style. It's like being a black belt in 10 different martial arts. It's very, very hard. You could. I guess religion doesn't translate that way. But you can't possibly be a master without the one punch. Gary Keller's one thing. There's a reason. You have to focus on one guru, one method. And why wouldn't you look to seek the truth, the most truest form, the longest existing method? I didn't invent this stuff. I am simply a vessel for the historical data that has been passed down to me by my grandmaster. Mike Ferry, Floyd Wickman, Tom Hawkins, Zig Ziglar, Grant Cardone, Gary Vaynerchuk. I have studied under those masters, Tony Robbins, Jim Rohn, Rhonda Byrne. All of those grandmasters, and I said, okay, that's it. I'm not listening to them anymore. I am branching off and I'm creating my own school, and I'm making my style to beat all styles, like Bruce Lee did, the Jeet Kune Do, if you're familiar with Bruce Lee. He created his own style and said, this is the truest martial art. This is what you do. And when people joined Bruce Lee's school, he says, empty your cup. I'm telling you, Bruce Lee is telling the Mac Daddy, you've got to empty your cup. Be water, my friend. You have to adopt the most simplistic, basic method, and that is cold call, door knock, one question, get your answer, find out what you're looking for, extract what you're looking for, cultivate it, incubate it, gather it, collect it, regurgitate it, repurpose it, brand it, get known in an area, and make sense of what you're doing before you find yourself in the middle of a recession and nobody knows who you are and you'll be out of the business. But what I'm doing is short-term, long-term gains of this industry. I am in beast mode, constantly training for that fight. And I'm going out and fighting every day, and I'm coming back and I'm doing analysis on everything I'm doing daily, and I'm projecting it on you, and I'm sharing it with you in a live platform, documenting, not creating, and sharing these things with you in real time so that you can see this is so easy. You cannot possibly think that you're going to exist in an arena where the pacifist loses. You cannot possibly think that going up to a door and saying, hi, my name is Agent, and we just listed a home over there on XYZ Street for $300,000, and I was just wondering if you have any idea of anybody who's thinking of... Now, don't get me wrong, Mr. and Mrs. Seller. I wasn't saying you. I would be offensive. I was just wondering if maybe by any chance that you might even be interested in what I'm saying. perhaps now or in the near future, I don't know, who knows, that you might have somebody in the top of your head, I don't know, who do you know, who might be thinking of selling somewhere in the near future around the corner, maybe in your church. Man, you'd have your face slammed on. In my area, I don't know, maybe there's a beautiful country, maybe there's a town where they don't shut the door on you. Maybe there's a town where they don't open the door already looking like, where's the bag of shit on fire? Oh, you're the bag of shit? What do you want, shithead? And they're standing there looking at you like, seriously? Can you see me chewing? I'm eating. Can you see me eating? Can you see the headset? Can you see the phone I'm holding up? I'm busy. I'm texting. I was just in bed with my wife and you got me out of this. You got me out of bed for this. I mean, we're way too busy to hear your shit. And you're coming up to my door with more than 10 seconds, 5 seconds? How dare you? That's why my system works. Because I'm going in, out, one punch. Going in, out, one punch. 10,000 times. And it's funny because people will look at me at the door and they'll be like, that's it? I'm like, yeah. Knockout. I'm like, because when they do, and today I just hit, I don't know my stats, I'll show you, 30, 50, 60 doors. Every 100 doors I knock, 20 people, 25 people open the door. If I speak to 25 people at the door, I will generate 5 people who say maybe in the form of a, nah, not right now, maybe later, I don't know, what's it worth. I'll generate at least 3 people who will give me their name, number, and email. Because I know what to listen to and I know the signs, the body language, I know my posture, I know my, what do they call it? Standing, the horse stance, if you guys are familiar. There's a specific stance in martial arts called the horse stance where you sit there with your knees back. And I stood in horse stance and I have meditated and I've practiced each one of my forms, my blocking styles. And I know exactly how to size up the other side of that conversation. And when I see what I want and they give me what I think I'm looking for, and that is a maybe, and that is a yes in the form of a maybe, when I extract that knowledge, I have nothing to lose. When I go in there and I go in there for a quick punch, a lot of times they'll look at me like, that's it? I mean, yeah, that's it. Have a nice day. Have a nice day. You'll feel people. You'll feel them immediately. When they open the door, you can see it in their eyes. They give you this look like there's a smell in the air, good or bad. It's a very strange energy. And if you knocked on enough doors, you know what I'm talking about. They will look at you and you'll see in the eye contact how much time you have to get what you have to say out. And if you've hit enough doors using someone else's script and you're like, man, I don't like door knocking, it's because you're using the wrong words. It's because you're interrupting people and you don't have enough time to interrupt people in 2017. You don't have time. They say that we got the attention span of like a goldfish now, or even worse. How can you possibly expect to knock on a door when people are like this all day? They're like, can I help you? It's like, I'm out. You can't. So you've got to go in there as fast as possible, get in and out with courtesy, with concise, accurate enunciation, posture, whether it's over the phone or in person. Have yourself completely focused on the task at hand. Try to extract that one little implication, suggestive intonation. I'm trying to make an nation of what I'm trying to tell you in my explanation. That if we could just extract that one needle of the haystack daily. Go back to it. Oh man, that stack's getting big. Let me go back and go through that stack real quick. See what's there. Comb through it. And I'm telling you, it is so much better to be in a world where you prospect a stack of needles than a haystack looking for the needle. And the only way you're gonna do that is using the James Festini Beast Mode Kung Fu style that I preach and practice, me personally. I am probably the only one in the game that I know of who has given this much to you with no real expectation for you to pay me. I have no agenda, no propaganda. I'm not asking you to join my club. I do offer one-on-one coaching if you're curious. Go to realestatesalestrainerandcoach.com and you'll see it. You buy my time. I'm not selling it, but it's for sale. And if you want to know more, if you want to become a grandmaster, you want to enter the dojo, it is very important that when you walk into my dojo and you're going to learn my style, that you rip the patch off of that last dojo and you say, Master, teach me. Because I know that when the student is ready, the master will appear. And if this is your first time watching my video, perhaps, hopefully, this made enough sense for you to say, I bow. That's prolific, right? Is this real? Hey, thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate you watching. This is a much longer one, but I think it meant something, and I want you to share it. You see this stuff? Ain't no one gonna do that anyhow. You know, don't worry about sharing it with your competition, because most of the people are gonna be like, they'll be like, you know, they're the ones who retweet Gary Vaynerchuk's quotes. They're the ones who like Grant Cardone's quotes, but they go out and they're just like, I need to write an article about this one and share it with my friends on Facebook. Versus going out and getting your mouth kicked in as a white belt, and then get your face broken as an orange belt, and get your knockouts as a brown, and then a green, and a brown, and then a brown with a stripe, and then finally you get your black belt, and hopefully you get a listing by the time, and then you work your way up to the 10th degree master, and maybe, just maybe, in 24 years, you will be on the YouTube at the front of the dojo, bowing in the student. Thanks for watching.